whatever. I
All right,
don't speak nerd.
First of all, you Philistine woman. It's Star Wars, not Star Trek.
Whatever.
I know you're glad there's a religion you can beat up on, but millions of us in the geek community are deeply offended by your microaggressions.
All right,
you should apologize.
He's joining you from the planet Tatooine, so
I
you
don't
should
speak
give him
jive.
a little...
What were you saying? What's something about the new?
I was saying that the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is awesome, and people who criticize it need to take a break. I felt like a 10-year-old kid watching it. It's wonderful.
There were things about it that I really enjoyed, but there were things about it that I felt were a little bit weak. But John does not want to hear about the weakness.
Okay.
No, I'll talk about the weakness all day, but I'm saying, you filthy ingrates, you got to have Darth Vader and Obi-Wan in a 7-hour Star Wars movie. What more do you want? No! And young Leia was cute.
She was cute, but at times she was a little too twee.
I'll be over here napping when the
and
nerd
this
convention
show isn't?
is over.
What, Travis, what is more twee than using the word twee?
Nothing. You win. I give up.
For those of you that care about the
I give up for the sake of Stephanie's sanity.
Okay, fascism is going to take over the world while y'all are having a nerd convention.
Well, fascism took over the world of Star Wars, and that's what the rebellion's fighting against.
Okay,
this is what it sounds like when democracy dies, as said in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
See,
I'm the Sister Mary Oliphant of a nerd convention.
We brought it back to the
glass.
We brought it home.
Shut up. Okay. John is aware that fascism is taking over the world. You tweeted, so far Italian fascism is my least favorite reboot of the fall season. Oh my God. What is happening where the right wing in our country roots for the fascists, no matter where it is?
Is that somehow new, Stephanie? I mean, they just move the goalposts and pretend they don't know what fascism means. We did a whole rant on my show and my podcast on Monday about, all the 14 warning signs of fascism that were posted on the wall at the Holocaust Museum. I mean, Trump solidly checks off at least 12 of them, and that's me being generous.
And the last sign is Lizzo playing a flute. That's the last sign of fascism.
Oh my God! These white people these certain kind of white people cannot keep the quiet part inside, saying, "Oh, this is an attack on all white people." Why? Because someone whose great ancestors could have been owned by Madison plays his flute, and somehow that hurts you. Yeah. This is what we're up against. The new racism is the denial of racism.
Yeah.
And Ron DeSantis is here to show us how to mock it.
Yes. Could you take your organ out for me, please, John?
Yes,
well, not
please.
You, John.
Slap it on the table. Hang on.
Dangerous. Hang on.
Okay.
I don't understand why people come at you about the Bible when you're just going to bitch slap them with the Bible. Bill, someone named Bill, said, please show me where Jesus opposed the death penalty. Oh, wait. And you said John 8, 1 through 11, Matthew 6, 12 through 14, Matthew 5, 39, Matthew 8, 1, 8, 21 through 22, Matthew 7, 12, Matthew 5, 7, Matthew 9, 13, and hey, let's throw in Genesis 4, 15. Jesus overturns eye for an eye in the Sermon on the Mount, stops an execution, says only the sinless may execute. Was Jesus wrong? I'll wait. I mean, don't come at John Fugelsang with the Bible. What?
But do come at me with the Bible, because I want to show more and more people that, these right-wing fundamentalists haven't read the darn thing. Look, you don't need to believe in the Bible to use it against these hypocrites. I personally am really tired that a political movement that's about nothing but power. That's all the American right is about, is just about gaining power. It's not about helping people, not about getting out of a recession, not about, if they wanted to end abortion, they get serious about birth control and sex ed. It's only about power. That's all they care about. And I'm really sick of them using Jesus as their lube.
Yeah.
It's a movement about love and compassion and forgiveness, welcoming the stranger, taking care of the sick, forgiveness, and not killing people. I mean, the death penalty is something Jesus talked about and opposed. Abortion, he never once did. There's a generation of people who were raised religious but now consider themselves spiritual because they're so turned off to this grotesque right-wing hypocrisy. And that's what we fight with. Penis jokes on stage, Steph.
Yes, of course. Can I just say my favorite backstage moment was you and John Cusack, who looked like you were like a tall, handsome man convention together.
Oh, dear.
Just that no one else was invited to. But You were saying you don't think Donald Trump's ever going to prison, and John Cusack disagreed and started shouting. So I almost just pushed you out on stage because that would have been the panel. I'm like, see, go argue with him out.
I mean, I didn't even. I mean, Cusack he's coming to do my show, and we were talking about some stuff, and I didn't know he'd come. I invited him. I knew he lived in Chicago. I didn't think he'd come on stage with us, but he said he'd come hang out backstage, and I was like, come on. And then
I was this close to just pushing him on stage. It was like only 2 feet.
Well, he rode his bike. He wasn't exactly dressed to go on stage in front of people, and to give him credit. But Stephanie's the one who got a couple of pictures up and the proof he was there.
Yeah.
And he really had a great time. And he promised me the next time we play Chicago, he will come on stage for panel. So we should get something on sale in the next couple of weeks, Steph.
Okay, thank you, John. Thank you for dragging me into that.
You were
super
funny.
nice. Oh my God, he was super nice. Super
Stephanie
nice.
Killed.
No, you
Stephanie
killed.
killed on stage.
No, you killed. Anyway, John Cusack, so nice. I had In Your Eyes queued up. I was going to ask people to lift their imaginary boom boxes.
I think it's probably a good thing we didn't do that.
Yeah, maybe that was best.
I don't, because he never gets that played when he walks in the room. He never gets tired of it. So
I know it was 17 movies ago, but it's my favorite. I'm just saying. I had a whole thing. I had a whole thing lined up. If In Your Eyes, he is one of the best actors of his generation and best political activists. If In Your Eyes, just lift your imaginary boombox and say hello.
And by the way, Cusack gets a bad rap because, he's really far left. He's more left than Bernie. But, he sat there praising Joe Biden to me backstage. We were just talking about all the great things Joe Biden has done. I mean, he's on the side of progress. If it's incremental, that's better than fascism.
Yeah. You tweeted, every time a white politician says illegals, a Native American gets his wings. You talk a lot about how they would react to Jesus if he came back today. Ron DeSantis would ship him to Martha's Vineyard, of course. But
yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
But Jesus would have to be in Texas for Ron DeSantis to use COVID funds to ship him. And again, can't stress it enough. The people that Ron DeSantis shipped to Martha's Vineyard were not here illegally. They were all asylum seekers. Most of them had court dates, and it was the Republican governor of Massachusetts who moved them. Yeah. We know all this already. Right now, I'm kind of getting ready to deal with the hypocrisy. We're all focused so much on Ron DeSantis' hypocrisy for opposing relief funds for Hurricane Sandy 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And now going hat in hand to Joe Biden for hurricane relief funds today. But if we focus too much on that, we'll miss the hypocrisy of Ron DeSantis going hat in hand to Joe Biden for relief funds today and then trash talking him to his evil base tomorrow. Yeah. Because again, graciousness is not something anyone ever taught Ron DeSantis. And we have to remember, as scary a figure as he might seem, he is incredibly without charisma and not terribly likable. So there's hope.
You're right. Speaking of Sandy, this didn't start happening now. You remember a lot of commentators said this is when Chris Christie's career was over, when he hugged Barack Obama and he thanked him for helping in Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah, but you know how I feel about that. I mean, that was one of my favorite moments in politics in the last decade. That wasn't big government. That was good government. Yeah. I don't like these mean jokes about Chris Christie. So I'm very happy to talk about when he worked with Obama to help the hurricane-ravaged citizens of his state. Stephanie, I give the Obama-Christie alliance a 10. And not just because they resemble that number when standing side by side.
What are your thoughts on Donald Trump recently fat-shaming Chris Christie and apparently Ron DeSantis? Your thoughts? Thoughts on that?
I mean, it's like I haven't laughed that hard since Donald Trump adultery shamed Peter Strzok. Listen, if you're still supporting Donald Trump, keep on doing it. Let the rest of us know. Let your children and grandchildren know how grotesque you really are after a terrorist attack on our Capitol. And by the way, if you still do support Trump, and I know some of y'all right-wingers listen to Stephanie because hearing this show gets your heart rate up, and that's the only cardio you ever get. Here's my suggestion. Send Trump a check, a big check. Send him one check to Trump University, then take your grandkids' inheritance and send that to the Trump Foundation. You know why? It'll own the libs.
Yes.
Give him money. Yeah. Really. He's fighting so hard for you.
So we were just talking to Glenn Kirshner. Bad week for justice in that this Judge Cannon, I don't even know. I'm losing my ability to be shocked at, Trump. And this is why when you say, I don't think he's ever going to go to prison, this is what I think would be incredibly dispiriting for the American people. Because if it's one thing that's easy to understand, it's two systems of justice.
Yes,
watching Trump continue to get away with the amount of crime that he has.
Yeah.
I mean, although, who is it? Oh, Renato Mariotti thinks that this, once again, is just a Trump delay, that this is still not going to stop
all it is.
the prosecution.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Judge Cannon's a hack appointed by Trump, and all she's doing is auditioning for the Federalist Society to give her a Supreme Court job someday. Yeah. Because, again, we got to stop using these language of, like, Trump's Supreme Court pick, Bush's Supreme Court pick. No. For the right wing, the Federalist Society picks who the next judge will be, and they hand a piece of paper with a name on it to their Republican puppet president. That's how it works. And Brett Kavanaugh got the job in part because he went down and helped stop a recount in Florida in 2000. So this is what Judge Cannon thinks, that subverting democracy now helps her later. But you got to remember, just like the special master decision, all it is a snooze alarm. They can only delay the outcome. Yeah. They can't change the outcome. But again, he's already in prison, people. He'll never go to jail. He's already in a prison.
Disagree.
Look,
where's John? John Cusack, I know you're listening. Call in right now, John.
I'm waiting for someone to go to jail for Iran-Contra. I'm waiting for someone to go to jail for lying us into the Iraq war. So, just think about this. Donald Trump's going to have to run for president just to get the RNC to keep paying his lawyer bills.
All right, beautiful blocker. Listen, there is another win that we may have, with the Judge Cannon thing, we may have missed. U.S. State's district judge on Thursday declined to block the Biden administration's student debt forgiveness plan. So you see this guy sued because he didn't want $20,000 worth of his debt forgiven because he'd have to pay taxes, something, blah, blah, blah. So the department, the judge ruled the department has already taken steps to effectuate plaintiffs' clearly stated desire to opt out of the program and not receive the $20,000 debt cancellation.
That's great.
One legal expert described the filing by the Department of Education as a tactical masterstroke. In other words, garrison which has been granted, the government will not cancel $20,000 of his student debt. With these two moves, the Biden administration has blown up his theory of standing. I mean, so the good news is lots of other people will get student debt forgiveness. I mean, it's so ridiculous how they will do anything to stop the Biden administration from helping anybody, right? Yeah,
because the more they can slow down an economic recovery, the more they can run on the fact that Biden hasn't cleaned up a mess they helped create by their ineptitude in handling COVID-19. But look, we gotta change the narrative from our right-wing friends saying, oh, they're getting a free college education. No one is getting free college from this student loan debt relief. No one is getting anything for free. They are not paying the evil interest that hurts capitalism, that hurts the middle class. Like if I give you, let's say I give you $100, and someone did this great comparison. If I give you $100 and I charge you $1 in interest per day, after 300 days, you owe me $400. So if I say I'm so nice, I'm going to knock $100 off your debt, the interest is still continuing, and you still owe me $300, but all you got was $100 in the first place.
Right.
So no one's getting anything for free. The evil interest is being set aside. This student loan debt is keeping millions of young people from being crippled by home mortgage debt.
Right.
The Bible calls on us to forgive all debts. In Leviticus, they say every 50 years. In Deuteronomy, it's every 7 years where you have to forgive all debts, and it's like hitting a reset on the economy. So don't tell me you want a government based on biblical values if you don't want to forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors.
Yep. All right. Ecclesiastical Mook, that was, you took us to church. And I think we have one more opportunity for you to take us to church live. Do we not? Do we have one more chance to save democracy? Maybe LA, October 22nd?
We'll have many more chances, but the next one is in LA on the 22nd with special guests and more special guests coming I got to talk to you about. I cannot wait as well. It's going to be such a great show. Tickets are going fast for the Saban Theater.
Yes.
I hope it's going to be a big party. I know a lot of celebs who want to come just to be in the audience. I cannot wait. And tonight on my show, by the way, my personal attorney, Michael Cohen, makes his first appearance.
Yay!
We have quite a conversation with Michael. He had never done my show before. I hope everyone listens to it tonight on SiriusXM Progress 127. And William Shatner is going to be back on my show as well.
Wow. Tell Michael we said hello, and he is a good sport. We played Cohen Me, Cohen You to his face, and he laughed. He laughed, and he loved it.
He's great.
All right.
I mean, whatever he is, he's entertaining. And you were very entertaining in Chicago the other night.
No, you.
I can't wait to put next year's shows on sale.
What? Okay, sexyliberal.com. Get those tickets. Love you, John. See you next week.
Love you guys. Peace.
There you go.
Ow.